Morning. It is 8:01 on a Monday morning, July the 22nd. Rise and shine. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Hopefully, get your day started off on the right note. I could tell you, at least weather-wise, it's kind of pretty outside. Like it is. Now there's some Saharan dust. That's going to get in the way a little bit, but aside from that, no problems. Hey, Southwest, clear to taxi, right? Look at that. Orlando International Airport. You're looking great this morning for the folks coming into town to play at the theme parks. It's going to be hot. Hot, hazy, humid, all those things. There's a live look outside over at the World Center Tower Cam. So this is looking into the tourist district. It's not foggy. That's some of that Saharan dust around, right? Yeah. All right, let's head into the metro, see what's doing. Downtown Orlando, looking good, a little hazy. Downtown Orlando, looking good, a little hazy, right? Last, the WESH First Warning Live Doppler Radar Tower, looking good, a little hazy. All right, to the beaches we go. New Smyrna Beach, let's check in on you, see how you're doing. A little hazy, but still very, very pretty, isn't it? Kennedy Space Center. We'll head south. Looking good. Port Canaveral. There's Utopia back in port. Mix of clouds and sun. It's a gorgeous day. It really is. All right, first warning live Doppler radar. Had some decent rains yesterday. A live scan this morning kind of showing gook down there in Polk County. No rain, nothing like that. Temperature-wise, 77 in the Villages, 78 right now in Orlando. It's 80 degrees in Kissimmee and 81 in New Smyrna Beach. Forecast today is hot, hazy, and you get the idea, right? The hot, hazy, humid thing. Yeah, good times. Then we get a couple of showers and storms. It's not going to be a huge coverage of rain today. We'll go with about a 40 to 50% coverage of rain as temperatures climb into the mid-90s. Here's a look at the temperatures around town. We'll start here, 94 in Orlando, 95 degrees in Claremont, 96 in Leesburg. If you're out and about today, do take care. Keep hydrated, all of those fun things. A reminder, the UV index is still running at about an 11.9, 11.8, which means, my friends, it doesn't take long. You get like 10 minutes, and then you burn. So there's that. And then again today, we're not to heat advisory territory, but we're awful close. About 108 is heat advisory territory. In Orlando today, it's about 106. So yeah, just plan accordingly. All right. So how does this play out for Futurecast? Let me find it. There we are. All right, here's high resolution rapid update Futurecast. This runs every hour, looking good through 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Starting to popcorn up a few showers around 1 p.m. Let me bring this full screen here. And then into the afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock. Definitely backing off on the overall rain coverage. Looks like a few showers east of the metro, and then from the metro off to the west, could see some showers and storms. But it looks like for today, really wanting to focus more on the West Coast I-75 type corridor. Yeah, that's kind of where Futurecast is going. Let's dial up the HER model and see what it's going with. All right, here's the HER model. And if you're unfamiliar, Futurecast is our model. The HER model is like the United States High Resolution Rapid Refresh. That's what HER stands for. So let's just kind of see if it agrees. So we've got some of that clouds, haze with us this morning. It's not even going with much out on the East Coast, just some popcorn showers over the metro. And then it's wanting to go with some of that intense stuff like metro off to the west. So that's not a surprise. I mean, it's a subtly different perspective, but it's kind of the same gist. And, it makes sense as to why. The overall pattern for us right now is with a nice deep easterly flow. And so because of that, we're bringing all that moisture and shifting it off to the west, right? That's for us today. Tonight into tomorrow, we actually watch an area of low pressure and a sagging front just kind of bubbling up some moisture over the Gulf. And I think that that's going to eventually help to increase our rain chances for tomorrow. So for today, our rain coverage sits at about 50%. For tomorrow, 60%. That tropical wave kind of faded over South Florida. So essentially, just looking at, some showers and storms around today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. Normal summer stuff is basically what we're looking at. So if you're getting into the backyard swimming pool, I would say it's a great day. Yes, we've got some showers and storms, but because it's normal this time of year, we're giving it the great stamp of approval. If it was a higher than normal threat for showers and storms, it would go to great. But here we are. Or it would go to good, excuse me. But here we are. It's a great day. What will I be doing today? Backyard swimming pool confirmed. You could call me a lot of things. Crazy is a possibility, but I'm definitely going to be doing that. Yeah. So, that said, interesting thing to point out, and I mentioned it on the title of this broadcast, okay? The Saharan dust. Let's talk a little bit about the Saharan dust layer. We talk about it when it comes to the tropics, right? With the tropics, you of course know Saharan dust dries out the atmosphere a little bit. It suppresses tropical activity. So to that point, anytime you get Saharan dust around, you get haze, you get some subtly drier air, and air quality issues. So here's the Saharan air layer over the last 48 hours. You kind of see it lapsing, but it's absolutely in our area, right? Without a doubt, that Saharan dust is in our area. So we look at the air quality map, and without surprise, there is a moderate impact to our air quality. All right. It's not unhealthy, but the air quality is moderate. It's not great. So sensitive breathers may run into some issues here with this kind of setup. Okay. Yukon says it's dusty outside. Get those extended length feather dusters out. Okay. It is definitely dusty out. Let's look at where we go. First off, let's just kind of take a wide perspective, okay? And you can see in our area, a ton of Saharan dust. You can also see a ton of Saharan dust across the open Atlantic basin. But let's roll this. I'm going to roll it fairly slow through time, but let's roll this through time. And let's just focus on us, okay? So this morning, lots of Saharan dust through the Bahamas, lots of Saharan dust through Central Florida. Where we're not seeing a ton of Saharan dust is going to be in South Florida where that little tropical wave was, right? But notice through today into tomorrow, more dust influxing into our area. We're going to have this dust around through about Thursday, Friday. Then that dust begins to erode out of here. But look what happens thereafter. Another shield of dust perhaps staying south of us, but kind of moving through, and then into like mid next week we may have it. But the bottom line is more Saharan dust through our area, finally exiting out on Thursday. So the sensitive breathers of the world, yeah, we're going to need to keep in mind Saharan dust may be an influencer for you. Okay? All right, does that make sense? Yeah. All right. If you've got family, friends that are sensitive breathers, maybe don't go run a 5K today. Also, it's going to be like 9,000 degrees, so don't run a 5K today. That's kind of the idea. All right. Questions about this? Questions about this. Mickey on YouTube. These storms have been intense in our area the past couple of days. Just a few miles up the road in Grand Island, a substation got struck by lightning and caught fire. A lot of residents without power. Saw that. Wesh 2, I think, put a push alert out for that yesterday. Yeah. All right. We'll be talking tropics, Jennifer, in just a couple of minutes. All right. Questions, comments, concerns about the Saharan dust and all that fun stuff. And while we're chatting about that, I'll pop up the 7-day forecast just so that we can perspectivize. Is that a word? I don't know. We just made it a word. All right. Anything? Questions? And comments and concerns, Taylor? 50% coverage today. Rain chance going up a little bit tomorrow, but then kind of leveling back off. And then you can see into this weekend, if more Saharan dust comes through, we'll start to see the rain chances drop. But when will it hit your house? Emily's asking. I don't know. Can you give me a live report? Yeah. What do we have to do to get rain in downtown Kissimmee? I mean, you could do a dance, Catherine. I don't know that it'll fix, but why not? Yeah. All right. So that was Futurecast for today. Let's rerun Futurecast, but instead of running the short version, the hourly update, let's run the every 6 hour Futurecast. This one's going to run longer. All right. So popcorn showers today. Most of the stuff's out west. Let's look at our Tuesday. Looking good. Higher coverage of rain. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, look at that sea breeze collision. Get some decent storms tomorrow, y'all. I can answer the rain question. Pay to get your irrigation fixed. It's rained almost every day at my house since. Oh my God, that's funny, Matt. It's funny in a not funny way. I'm sorry, buddy. So tomorrow's definitely, I would agree. Futurecast is definitely going with stormier weather. Yeah, for tomorrow. And then do we have Wednesday? Let's look. Bop, bop, bop. Wednesday, rain coverage goes back down. That's Saharan Dust. That and just I think the sheer fact of like Futurecast has not been great. Her has not been great. The models have not been great on a local level with Florida, which makes forecasting so much fun. Yeah. Jeannie says we apparently need some rain down in Africa. That's right. So are you saying we miss the rains down in Africa? See what I did there? I miss the rains down in Africa. Oh God, it's a bad joke. I'll be here all night. Be sure to tip your waiters. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns about our local forecast before we go out to the tropics? Anybody? And we are off the rails is correct. Yeah. All right. So to the tropics we go. Obviously, in talking Saharan dust, you're really able to get a whole lot of nothing with Saharan dust. He can sing, but he can't dance. That's right. That's right. Only thing about me is the way. Never mind. That was too easy. All right, to the broad shot we go, and there's really nothing. A little, I mean, like a little itty bitty teeny weeny wave off the coast of Africa, doing its thing here. I'll zoom into it. Give me a second to just kind of set the system up accordingly. All right. So down here, there's a little itty bitty thing. Not really seeing much from this, but it's something to watch. Susan, yep, missed the rains down in Africa. Yeah, you like that? Good gravy. When are we ever on the rails? I know. I know. All right, so a little wave off the coast of Africa. Something to watch there. But again, like I showed you here on the Saharan dust model, there's a lot of Saharan dust out there. There's a lot of Saharan dust out there. So to that point, even though we've got that little wave off the coast of Africa, not really looking at any tropical development over the next 7 days. Yeah. All right. So we can look at the models and kind of go from there, see what's doing. Bup, 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 bup. All right. All right. So here we are. GFS. And then we'll go full basin because why not? So first off, GFS doesn't really do much with that little wave. Big surprise. Bunch of Saharan dust. Little something out there, and nothing crazy. Now, here, yeah, just a whole lot of nothing. All right. Something caught my eye, but it wasn't much. Around Puerto Rico, July 29th. It's not low pressure, but it's like not as high. So there may be a little wave rolling through like Puerto Rico. And this time you see that white area there. Just a whole lot of nothing. There's a little something. There's something in the Pacific bottom left corner. And usually when the Pacific's open, the Atlantic is not. The MJO is just out of phase. You can kind of see a couple little areas, maybe into August, but just a whole lot of nothing. That's the GFS. Let's look at the European. Something forming off of the coastline of the United States, maybe. Now the European's doing something. You see that? All right, so this is so what am I looking at? I'm looking at the control version of the European ensemble, all right? So you've got like some broad low pressure around South Florida, but watch here north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. This is August 1st. It's trying to do something. All right. Now, if we switch from the European control over to the multi-members, there's several ensemble members that are trying to show something. Most are not, though. So, interesting. Look, it's interesting. Go back to it. Yeah, so interesting. Around first week of August, there's some bit of model data that would try and say like, hey, we want to wake up. But I would also add, did I leave this here? I did. All right. So I would also just add, what we're looking at here is basically the Madden-Julian oscillation. So looking for like vorticity. Basically the brown over the Atlantic there, that's stable, stable, stable. And as long as it's stable, you're just not going to get, and we'll switch over to oceanic basin there. So, right, the next couple of days, there is, we're kind of in phase to get some activity off the coast of Africa, around the 29th, maybe around the Caribbean. But as a whole, for right now, through August 4th, the open Atlantic is hostile territory in terms of lift. Anything that were to try to develop in this moment here is going to have to be pretty close to home, and it would really have to be that like August 3rd, 4th, 5th time frame. And interestingly enough, that's what the European was showing, is that there was a lot of nothing, and then once it got close to home, you see where it's green there around August 4th, there's lift, there's spin, so that's where it goes in. So if anything develops the next couple of weeks, it's going to have to be pretty close to home, because the open Atlantic is hostile territory in terms of the Madden-Julian oscillation, basically, in terms of just the environment itself. This is super nerdy stuff. I get it, and I'm sorry if this is like too nerdy for you. But here we are, July 22nd. Next name on the list is Debbie. Yeah. Okay, explain the Madden-Julian oscillation. All right, so I'm just going to read. I'm just going to read. Gosh, how do I explain this? Okay. Imagine Enzo as a person riding a stationary exercise bike in the middle of the stage all day. It's changing. Oh my God. So just look at it like this. The MJO is basically the oscillation of where there's lift and where there's spin in the atmosphere. And wherever the MJO goes in phase, you kind of get the added help atmospherically for storms. Okay? So if we look at it on this kind of a scale, go. There we are. All right. So if you look at it on this kind of a scale here, all right, with the MJO, the colors have been, overly simplified, but the idea is that wherever it's brown, you don't have global equatorial. All right. So basically, if it's brown, you don't have lift. So notice right now there's a lot of lift, in the southern hemisphere of the Atlantic. And you can kind of see how this works. But the Pacific is going to go in phase around August 3rd, right? And so I would suspect August 3rd, August 4th, we will see some activity in the Pacific because it goes in phase. there's lift, etc., etc., etc. But until this goes in phase in the Atlantic, which it's not going to for the next for the next couple of weeks, you're just not going to see much. So if we come back over here to the Atlantic Basin, you've got a narrow window of some opportunity right in here around August 3rd, August 4th, right? And that's where you get some lift, that's where you get some spin, and according to the European model, it's running that exactly. It's keeping it weak until it hits that instability around August 3rd, August 4th, and then it tries to develop something. So it's all about kind of the atmosphere and using what's available. And this is why, to people that try to forecast, like there's just a lot to the atmosphere, and you have to understand A, that there's too much for you to follow. You're doing the best you can. And B, you're never going to know it all. And I think that is where a lot of people stink. I know it all. Bro, you don't know it all. There's always new science to learn. So anyway, know what you can. Never stop learning. Elliot, if the forecasts are for near record activity, it's been relatively inactive. Does that mean the latter half of the season will be nuts, or possibly they were just wrong this year? Which happens? All right, so a couple things. The idea was always that the second half of this season would be crazy, number one. Number two, not all forecasts went quote unquote nuts. This is the July update from Colorado State. 17 to 25 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, 4 to 7 majors. But I do also want to point out that my forecast is on the lower echelon of everybody. We've got higher number of hurricanes and major hurricanes than average, but I did go lower than everybody else, seemingly, for my named storms. So different people are looking at different data parameters, but we'll see, is all I'll say. But I do expect that the second half of the season will probably be very, very active. Yeah. Tiffany, this is why you went to school for it and we didn't. But I would also add, going to school for it doesn't end your learning process. This is something you have got to constantly, constantly, constantly work on. Everything. Truthfully. And you can be a really crappy forecaster and be a really good BSer. That's another thing. Like, truthfully understanding it is hard. And I'll tell you, at the beginning of my career, I was really good at faking it. And there are some times where that's when you're early in any career or anything, you got to figure it out. You got to fake it till you make it. I would also add, I'm mature enough, I think, to tell you if I don't know something, and that's okay. Or if I don't remember something, and that's okay. Y'all have, if you've hung around Coffee Talk long enough, you've heard me say it. I don't remember, I'll look it up, that kind of thing, right? I mean, but think of Madden-Julian oscillation as when we go in phase, when you get clicked into it, you get set up for something. And we're not there right now. There's a whole lot of, August 3rd, 4th, I think will be a time frame to watch around the Caribbean, because you can see we're getting a little bit of that lifting mechanism in that window there. European is sniffing that out. The GFS is not. So it's interesting. Meteorology is fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Less fun, Jessica. Yukon. The thing is, some meteorologists don't have science degrees. They demonstrate a basic level of knowledge to get AMS NWA certification for broadcast. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's a different path. I would just say you don't even need to be, like a doctorate to study it. The guy I worked with in West Palm, his name was Mike Lyons. He was not a meteorologist. Never pretended to be. He was kind of that old guard that didn't need to be. He was smart enough to know when he didn't know something. And so I came hot right out of college, and I was dumb, and I know everything. didn't know everything. You're an idiot, Burris. Anyway, when I would bring something up that he didn't know, though, he would ask, tell me about that. Now, I would never have said that stuff. I would have silently looked it up because I was without much wisdom. I'm not saying I have a ton now, but right, but he was smart enough that if he heard something or read something or didn't understand, hey, can you tell me about this? Tell me about. So to that point, always learning, and even though he didn't have a meteorology degree, he was always trying to learn and always trying to better himself. Who can ever badmouth that? So, anyway, it is what it is. Yukon, Wesh has usually had Mets. I'm trying to think. In my lifetime, I don't know that Wesh has ever not had a meteorologist on the weather team. Seriously. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Back in the day, right? Like Dave Marsh was the only actual meteorologist in the game, and then Wesh. I mean, I can't go back terribly far but like maybe Marty Stebbins. I don't remember if maybe he wasn't. I know he was a radio guy, but did he go back to get his meteorology stuff? Rest in peace, Marty. I miss your comedy all the time. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. Sometimes folks who learn through life can be more educated than formalized instruction. Say that louder for the people in the back because I'm a firm believer in that as well. Tina, does the MJO go further than August 6th? It doesn't really. That's the problem. It's just model data. So we're kind of stuck with what it's, with as far out as it goes. That's as far out as it goes on the GFS. But this would tell us that we're probably going to have a very nice and quiet, with the exception of like some opportunity in here in the Gulf, in the Caribbean, around the 3rd and 4th. That's about, your only opportunity though. So we're going to keep fairly quiet in the tropics for a little while. That's okay. I don't think anybody in their right flipping mind is like, please bring on the hurricanes. I just don't think that's a thing. Certainly isn't a thing with me. In the 1980s, you had Dave Marsh, Dan Satterfield, and Jim Clark. So I don't remember Jim. I remember Dan. Dan's a meteorologist. But I don't remember Jim Clark. Was he? I don't know. Marty, I believe, started out just doing weather, but I believe he did get some sort of certification before he retired. Okay, because I remember Marty was a radio guy by trade, but I remember that he was just a really fantastic storyteller. I don't know that he got into the nit grit of it. I just don't remember. Jesus. Also talking 30 years ago, right? Mike, true feeling. I want to go to school for meteorology, but at 48, I think I'm too late for a career change. Well, I'm also a firm believer in like doing crap for you. So like Mike, I'm 40. I'm not young. I'm not old. I'm cruising through. I'm really working hard on the aviation stuff. I'm not doing it for a career change though. I'm doing it because I really just think it will fill my cup. So for you, Mike, go to school for it. If you think it's too late for a career change, do it for you. It's expensive, just like the flying stuff. But if it fills your cup, man, we have one shot at life. How are you going to spend it? Doing stuff you want or fantasizing about doing stuff you want? I encourage it, man. I'll do anything I can to support you. Be smarter than everybody. I, be smarter than everybody ever gives you credit for. Right? Jim Clark was the weekday morning Met. So going back for me, the first one that I can remember is Mike Olenek. I don't know that I remember anyone before him in the mornings. What does the AMS stand for? Yeah, so you'll see, AMS next to our names. AMS stands for the American Meteorological Society. So I think at Wesh, Tony and I are the only sealed meteorologists. And that's not dogging anybody else. it's just he and I are the only ones that have either taken tests or submitted tapes, depending on the seal. But basically, I have submitted my forecast tapes like 20 years ago, and the American Meteorological Society's board of broadcast, I don't even know what they're called, a board, said this guy clearly knows what he's talking about. You have to demonstrate a mastery of the scientific stuff. This was far before Coffee Talk, too. Like, I feel like in Coffee Talk, man, it would be much easier to demonstrate knowledge of meteorology versus back. I think I got my AMS seal in '06. I think. Yeah, I think '06, maybe '07. Anyway, Tony got his in 1905. Yeah. Yep. I got my master's in education when I was in my 40s. Exactly. And Debbie's got a brighter smile than anybody else I know. Angel says, Eric, you look early 30s. Hey, man, I'll take that. It's all the coffee I drink. I grew up on KALB Channel 5 in Central Louisiana, so I don't get to know all the cool Central Florida throwbacks. That's okay, Katie. That's okay. I got you. I got you. Elliot says, do stuff for you. I want to get my pilot's license. Look, I mean, right now I'm just trying to take the family flying, Elliot. That's all I'm trying to do. Actually, Dan Satterfield left Wesh before Jim Clark left. Dan and Dave got into housekeeping issues, and Dan left. I feel like now that you mention it, I feel like I remember that story. Wasn't there an actual fight? I feel like there was an actual fight. Yukon, didn't Amy have... Yeah, Amy had the AMS and the NWA. Tony has the AMS and the NWA. I never got the NWA for no other reason than I just never did it. And at this point, it's kind of like, do I need to do it? Maybe one day. I don't know. I don't know that I need to. It's just one of those things. I, yeah. But Tony has the AMS and the NWA. I have the, just to let you know, everybody regards the AMS seals as the higher tier seals. That's why I did just the AMS. The NWA is a much more fun group of people. I actually don't care much for the AMS as a whole, but that's a whole other conversation. And God, if they ever find this, don't yell at me. There's just there's some beef. There's some beef. But anyway, my check clears to keep myself current every year. So, and I do my continuing education just as they ask. Mm. But yeah, so it mattered. You know, that stuff matters. Having an AMS seal, an NWA seal says something. It doesn't say you're great, but it is what it is. I'm telling Tony Manolfi Wesh. Oh, Jessica, he knows. He knows. Tony knows. I don't do anything to Tony behind his back I wouldn't say directly to his face. And half the time, he'll call on Coffee Talk and I'll make fun of him about it. And he'll be like, Bada bing, don't make me come over there. So, listen, Tony's like my really annoying, much older brother. I love him. What can I say? All right. Questions. Now that we've gone down this whole rabbit hole, any questions, comments, concerns? Now that you all know about the AMS seal and then NWA seal, there's there's certified digital meteorologist now. The AMS has a certified digital meteorologist seal. I wonder what that takes. AMS certified digital meteorologist seal. What is that? Okay. The AMS certified digital meteorologist program. Eligibility requirements. Okay, all the educational crap, blah 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 blah. Value and benefit. Do I need to have AMS CDM next to my name? Like what who do I need that? Do I need to do that? I don't think I need to do that. It's fine. I'm a digital meteorologist with an AMS seal. They just keep adding these new seals so that they can make money. What? Certified coffee talk seal. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, see, you were wrong, Mike. NWA was not just the 90s band. Yeah. Linda, we lived in Palm Beach, always watched you. So you got the worst of me. You got the like, my head is in my tuchus part. I don't know that I need it or want it. I'm kind of fine. I've got AMS right there. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's not that cool. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I don't need it. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Did I miss it? Yeah, we showed the ensembles. There wasn't a ton of craziness. Looks like early August, Caribbean, Gulf, may there's some indication. Hold on. There's some indication. This button. Yeah, there's some indication of the European is wanting to show something around early August. Not a huge thing. We'll watch it. All right. I don't need pieces of flair. I don't need pieces of flair. All right. Question, comments, concerns, anything? Certified coffee talk seal. I Gewalt. And there's just a few storms. I don't think it'll be crazy today, but there will be some storms around. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything. Anything, 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 anything. No? We're looking good? Don't think we didn't see that fresh. You aren't an alphabet collector? No, it's fine. It's fine. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. I've got all I needed when I got into TV meteorology. All I wanted was the AMS seal. That's all I wanted. Got it. Check. It's like in aviation. I'm working. Literally, my plan today is to spend some time and work on the Shepherd Air instrument stuff. Once I get my instrument rating, I don't need to be commercial, multi. I don't need any of that. So, set goal, achieve goal. That's all I want to do today. I'm a certified opinionated fool, a COF. There you go. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Yeah. Think of adding my name and adding CCS, Certified Coffee Talk Seal. Oh my gosh, how funny. That's funny. We should create a seal. Try and sell it to people and make money. Would you like to be a certified coffee talker? For only $500 a year, you can add that to your business card. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Like your letterhead. It just makes you sound smarter. And when people ask you what it is, you just say it's a professional certification I have received. Meanwhile, I'm over here making $500 a year on you. I like this idea. Yeah, yeah, not a seal. It needs to be an otter medal. Yeah, we can't do the seal thing. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns, anything? No? All right. You've created a cult. Oh, God. All of a sudden, $500 checks start showing up, and I get fired from Wesh. Let's not do that, please. All right, people. We'll be tracking some storms. No business card coffee cup. It'll have your name, Oliver, Certified Coffee Talker, CCT. Oliver Dubai, comma, CCT. What does that stand for? Just professional certification. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. All right. Be good, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Tracking the tropics tomorrow as well. All right. Oh my God, you